Hey guys, so it's been a little while since I've uploaded. If you follow me over on Instagram, you will know that we were dealing with a situation with my dog and he was quite sick. So I took a little bit of time away from YouTube and from reading and from everything else that I do in life to take care of my dog and just try to get through my regular work. So that's kind of what was going on, and I am back now. So I will have a couple of videos that I have to catch up on, so there will be a few uploads this week. So today we're going to do a video, and then I have an upload coming, a book review as well as a reading vlog at the end of the week. So we're full steam ahead here on the channel, and we're gonna start wrapping up this crappy year of 2020. So today I am going to do the spooky scary book tag. I saw this tag over on Jason's Weird Reads. I'm not sure who had done it first, but I will link Jason's video down below so you guys can go check out his answers to these questions. And before we jump into the questions, please consider hitting the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. So jumping right in here, the first question in the tag is a scary book that reminds you of 2020. And for this one, I'm going to go with Station 11. I actually haven't read this book myself, but I recently heard about it, and it is about basically a plague that is taking over the entire world. And I think it's 90% of the population is infected with this plague. And so that definitely fits in there with 2020. And then of course, Stephen King's The Stand is another one that would definitely remind you of the events that's going on this year. So question number 2, a new spooky scary novel that you want to read in 2021. And for this, I picked What Big Teeth, and it is written by Rose Sabdo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I will insert a picture here so you guys can see the cover. And just reading the description from Goodreads, it says, Miss Peregrine's home for peculiar children meets the Addams family in this haunting story of one girl's attempt to reconnect with her monstrous family. So I believe this book comes out in March. I've already pre-ordered it, so it'll be on the way soon. And it's about this girl, Eleanor, who, like I said, she comes from a family of like monstrous people, and they had sent her away to a boarding school when she was really young, so she doesn't really know her family. And we all know how much I love boarding school stories. So that one sounds like it's right up my alley. So come March, we will definitely dive into that one together. So question number 3 is, who is an author you're afraid to read? And I've kind of picked just one book with an author, and that is Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. So I've heard a lot about this book around on YouTube and on BookTube, quite a bit actually. It seems like everyone has read this book, but it seems like the way that the author kind of deals with women and how women are described, it's very misogynistic. And I don't think I would be able to enjoy a story that has those elements in it. I mentioned, actually, I was talking about when I was filming for my vlog earlier, so you'll hear this when that comes out, but I was talking about how if a writer's style and how they describe things doesn't really jive with me, it really takes me out of the story, and it's hard for me to overlook it, especially when it's something like this that's very misogynistic in the way that women are being described. So that is definitely something that I'm a bit wary of. And even though Kill Creek has been read by just about everyone and people said that they really enjoyed it, I don't think that's something that is going to jive with me. So I don't think I'm going to read that one. And then the other one is The Girl Next Door, and that one is just full of trigger warnings, and I don't think I'll be able to dive into that one either. I can handle a lot when it comes to books. Movies is a little bit different story, but when it comes to books, I can usually handle a fair amount, but you know, it kind of crosses the line at some point, and those are two books that I don't think I'll be diving into. Question number 4 doesn't really have to do with books specifically, but for me it kind of has to do with books and writing and stuff like that. So it is Of all the things you've lost, what do you miss the most? And I mean, for the most part, people are going to pick, you know, family members that have passed away and that kind of thing. And that's totally, you know, that's totally in my realm too. Of course, I miss people that have passed away. As most of you probably know, I've mentioned it on the channel before, I deal with mental illness. So I have bipolar type 2, and I also have something called OCPD, which is a personality disorder. So that was diagnosed several years ago, along with depression and anxiety, and I take several medications to help me, and I am so grateful for those medications, and I am all for Western medicine when it is needed. But being on those medications, of course it alters your brain a little bit because I have a chemical imbalance. And one thing that it's kind of affected is my creativity and just my open-mindedness. So I am still creative. I love to write, I love to read, I love to research, especially when it comes to the paranormal and ghost stories and true crime and stuff like that. And, you know, I still think I'm pretty good with my storytelling and my writing that I'm working on. But just a little bit with that closed-mindedness, it does kind of take away from a little bit of the person that I always was. And at the same time, of course, I'm also a spirit sensitive, and although that was getting to be a little bit of a challenge with what I was picking up on, so the medication has helped greatly, but it has closed everything off almost completely, and I don't have a lot of the experiences now that I used to. So I'd say that's probably, out of everything that I've lost, is probably just my open-mindedness and the level of creativity that I had before I had to go on medication for my mental illnesses. And the last question is question number 5. How will you forge ahead in 2021? One thing that Jason said in his video, so again, I'll have that video linked down below so you can go look at his answers, but like he said, you know, every New Year's Eve, a lot of people are like, you know, the next year is going to be way better than this year, but it just seems like with everything that's happening in the world, we're just not getting better. So there's a lot going on there. So one thing I think I have to do is kind of remove myself from a lot of the things that are going on. I'm very much into politics. I'm very into kind of current events and that kind of thing. But with that kind of comes a level of frustration, and I get burnt out with it because I'm so passionate about my own beliefs. And I think everybody is entitled to their beliefs, but when it comes to fundamental human rights and things like that, it's not something that I can agree with whatsoever. So I think I have to kind of remove myself a little bit from how much news I'm taking in, how much social media I'm taking in, which is very little right now. I actually closed down all of my social media accounts in 2017 when I went into the hospital when I was having my bipolar diagnosed. But since then, of course, I have my Instagram account and I do have a Facebook account that just has to deal with books right now, so it's not really a personal channel as such. But yeah, so I think one thing I'll have to do is take a little bit of a step back from all of that. And the other thing I think is, and this is something that I have always struggled with, is kind of my perception of myself. And I've always had like ideas of things that I want to do and things that I want to accomplish, but I never ever thought that I was good enough to do it. And starting this YouTube channel has kind of helped me with my self-confidence and stuff like that. So there are a couple of projects that I have in mind that I would like to get started, and some things that I want to do with YouTube as well. So I think I'm really going to buckle down and try to get over myself and just do it. And hopefully those projects will go well, and if they flop, they flop. It's not a big deal. So yeah, those are two things that I think I'm going to concentrate on in 2021 to try to develop myself and just kind of move ahead in this crazy world of ours. So that was all of the questions. This was a super short tag. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like down below and leave me a comment. What are some of your answers to these questions? Do you have a book that you're looking forward to in 2021? Is there something that you're a little apprehensive to read? I'd really like to know, and of course you guys know that I love chatting with you. So that's everything for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, stay spooky guys. Bye!